Have you been struggling to build muscle or want to prevent any mistakes slowing down your progress? If that's the case, well, today I'm going to help you stop wasting countless and countless of hours in the gym working hard without seeing much results. And even if you are seeing results, chances are you will still benefit from this video. I promise you that if you watch this whole video and apply everything that I'm saying, it will save you a lot of time in the gym. So if you don't have 9 to 10 minutes, well then go off and click to another cute cat video. But if you have the time to watch this whole video, please do so because it will save you a lot of time. So let's get started immediately with the first mistake. The biggest mistake that people make when it comes to building muscle is that they have a very low training frequency. The training frequency isn't really how much days you're going to the gym, but more about how many times a week you train a certain muscle. So for example, if I train chest on Monday and I don't really train it somewhere else in the week, I have a training frequency of 1. There are still a lot of people advocating bro splits because, well, they're fun to do, but they're not really that helpful. If you don't know what a bro split is, well, it basically looks like this. And even if you're not doing a bro split, there are other splits as well that might even hinder your progress. Because a study done in 2015 researched the results between 2 groups. One group would train a muscle once a week, while the other would train it 3 times. What they found was that the group who trained their muscles 3 times a week had a much higher rate of muscle growth. So you want to fix your workout split if you only have a training frequency of 1. Just to give you a few examples of which workout splits are effective: a full body workout split with training 3 days a week, or an upper-lower training split where you train 4 times a week, or a push-pull leg split where you train 6 times a week, are the most optimal choices when it comes to muscle growth. And yes, if you train 5 days a week, you can do an upper-lower push-pull leg split. And I know a lot of people are still saying, well, you should train what you like because training should be fun, but I think most of us are in the gym to see results. Now, if you're not already, start using one of the previously mentioned splits and you will see a big impact on your results. And if you want to see faster results, then keep on watching because I'm going to share you another valuable tip. Some things on this list don't really apply to the gym, but more at your life at home. For example, the second mistake is lacking a good amount of quality sleep. A study showed that when people slept about 5.5 hours, they had a 60% less muscle mass as opposed to the ones sleeping 8.5 hours. Because what happens in the gym when you train your muscles is that you get small tears in your muscles and they eventually get repaired stronger and bigger again. And this repairing requires protein and other muscle building resources, but this also requires sleep. Because most of the repairing happens when you're sleeping. So sleep is one of the most important factors when it comes to muscle growth, and not is it only important for recovery, but it's also important for your performance. Because when you've had a bad night, you're most likely to not be that energetic, and when you don't have that energy to really hit the gym, you won't really see big results. And even if you are training while being tired, you won't really go as hard as you normally would. So if you're sleeping less than 8 hours, I definitely advise you to fix your sleeping schedule, not only for your physical health, but also for your mental health. Now, the third mistake is something that has wasted hours, days and even years for most people. The third mistake is not smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Got him! I know it was a bad joke. Let's just go on. Now, the real third mistake is going to failure on each set. Now hold on, before you start typing, I'm not saying that you should never go to failure. So let me explain this. We know that training volume matters a lot when it comes to building muscle. If you don't know what training volume is, it's basically the amount of weight times the amount of sets times the amount of reps that you're doing. Now, when you're going to failure on each set as a natural lifter, you won't really be able to do as much volume as you normally would. So for example, if I'm doing 225 on the bench for 8 reps and I go to failure, I won't really be able to do another 8 reps my next set. It will be more something like 6 to 7 reps. And on my next set, I will even be able to do less reps because I went to failure on my last set, which means I will only be able to do 5 or 6 reps. So this is where my training volume suffers. If I only do 7 reps, I won't really be that fatigued and I will be able to do 7 reps each set. And when you're able to still equal the amount of reps that you did when you went to failure, well, then you really didn't and go to failure. So this is why going close to failure, so leaving 1 or 2 reps in reserve, is probably more beneficial. Now this mostly applies to compound lifts. So for example, if you're doing an isolation exercise for your biceps like bicep curls, you can go to failure on each set because, well, smaller isolation exercises don't really fatigue your muscles as much as big compound exercises. So when you're doing compound exercises like bench press and squats and deadlift, you won't really want to go to failure on each set. However, you can go to failure on your last set. This is because, well, it's your last set, so it doesn't really matter if your muscles are fatigued. Now keep in mind that you do this safely and with a spotter if needed. Now the 4th and 5th mistake have an impact on each other. The 4th mistake is not going to failure at all, and the 5th mistake is not using enough progressive overload. This is because, well, when you're going to failure, you won't really push yourself and you're not really applying enough progressive overload. If you don't know what progressive overload is, it's basically increasing the intensity of your workouts. This can be done by doing 1 more rep than last workout or adding some weight as opposed to your last workout. Now you want to be applying this progressive overload every training. Now never going to failure is probably going to hinder you from pushing yourself and applying that progressive overload. A study showed that people are really bad at estimating how close they're actually to failure, so that's why it's probably important for you to go at least your last set of your exercise to failure. This way you really know when you're close to failure and you know how many reps you can leave in reserve for your next workout. Because going harder than last time is the only thing that builds your muscles, and if you're leaving 1 or 2 reps in reserve every time, you're most likely not really pushing yourself. So if you have to go closer to failure, to add a little bit more weight or to do another rep, you have to do so. Now when you're an advanced lifter, it's harder to progressively overload. So if you're an advanced lifter, you probably want to progressively overload every 2 weeks instead of every week. Or you can do some half reps on your last set to really push yourself and go harder than last workout. Now if you're unable to progressively overload because you're not really getting stronger, you have to fix something else. You will probably have to fix your sleep or your nutrition, which brings me to my next point. The 6th mistake that people make is that they don't eat enough protein or enough food. Proteins are the building blocks of your body. You need them to repair your muscles after you've done a workout. And yes, your muscles do recover mostly when you're sleeping, but you still have to consume enough protein the day after you've trained. For proteins, you need to consume about 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight every day. So calculate how much protein you need to eat and try to hit the target. Now, if you are eating enough protein and you're still not seeing results, you will have to eat more food. It will be substantially harder to build muscle when you're in a deficit, so that's why you probably want to be at least eating maintenance calories or to be in a calorie surplus of about 250 to 500 calories. There's really no reason to really bulk up and gain a lot of fat, so that's why a slight calorie surplus of 250 to 500 calories is all you need. Now I will leave a link down in the description where you can calculate your daily caloric needs. Try to hit those calories and you will see an increase in results. These calculators are mostly accurate, but you might need to change your caloric intake a little depending on how much weight you're gaining or losing. So it's important to track your weight gain and weight loss to see if you need to adjust your calories. Now the 7th mistake that a lot of people are making is not using every rep range. Yes, the most ideal rep range is between 6 and 12 reps. But this doesn't mean you should avoid all the other rep ranges. This is because, well, as a natural lifter, you have to become progressively stronger. So for example, if you're doing 225 for 8 reps and you want to do it for 10 reps but you're really struggling to get another rep, well then it's probably your best option to try and increase your strength. So then it's best to train in between the 1 to 5 rep range. Because when you get stronger, you will be able to do the same weight for more reps. In this way you will increase your volume and you will progressively overload your muscles. Now you can also focus on the higher rep range to increase your endurance so you can do more reps. But in my experience, the lower rep range helps way more than the higher rep range. bench. Now it's important that you periodize this through your trainings, but you don't really have to do it for every exercise. For example, I can do 1 to 5 reps on my bench press, but I can do 8 to 12 reps on my dumbbell press. This way I utilize both rep ranges in just one workout. And after a month or two, you want to switch up those two rep ranges, so 1 to 5 reps on a dumbbell press and 8 to 12 reps on the bench press. If you utilize this periodization in your program, you will definitely see results way faster. If you fix all these mistakes, I promise you that you will see results back again, or at least see an increase in results. Feel free to subscribe if you found this video helpful so you don't miss out on any tips. Feel free to share it with your friends so they don't make the same mistakes as well. Like the video to show me that you like content like this, and I'll see you guys later.